It is 9:04. So, our first presentation today will be from Kang on Machu Picchu. So, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody. Today, I would like to invite you all to participate with us on a Blockchain for Good project. In the cohort of this year of the bootcamp, we are already 7 of us. And the name of the project is Machu Picchu. It won a prize in the recent ETH Online hackathon. I do the following. I will present the project in 3 slides. After that, I will pause and check your chat. After that, I will present 3 more slides on how we can proceed together. And for the rest, if you are interested, you PM me on the Slack of the bootcamp. What is the pain that Machu Picchu is aiming to address? The pain today is that the world spent 29 billion of US dollar in aid in 2018, and the large majority of this aid, once distributed, is under $10 per person. $10 per person it takes the same for the banks to pay $10 or to pay $10,000. So with less than $10 per person, the banking overhead is huge, and everybody is losing money. The banks lose money, the insurers lose money, the government losing money, and at the end of the day, the person in need are not well assisted. Can the blockchain change that? The answer is most probably yes. In 2016, the World Food Program, they made a project named Building Block on a Syrian refugee camp in Jordan, and they published a result, and they estimate that 98% of the bank costs were spared by that program. So the question is, why is the blockchain not used more than that? The answer is that actually it is used. There are many, many humanitarian blockchain initiatives. I made a list. I can share it. It's on Google Sheets, so I can share it if you want. Not counting the World Food Program Building Blocks. Oxfam has made something. And even ConsenSys knows that because Oxfam in Vanuatu, they have something called Unblocked Cash that has received the prize from the European Commission. So there's a lot of blockchain humanitarian initiatives actually. But the trick is that they all work in silos and they all address very quick slot. Immediately they give cash and they hit the same wall, which is low amount of fiats means high financial overhead. And that's a pain. In Machu Picchu, we take the problem from the opposite end and we start with the data. What we do is point number 1, the owner of the data is the person in need. These guys down there. Each one owns the data. Everybody can access the data by paying the owner. But they pay the owner of the data by tokens, and these tokens can be exchanged and bundled at will. Here is the business model of Machu Picchu. The business model of Machu Picchu is opposite to the GAFA. The GAFA, they own our data and they make money of it. Here, the owner of the data is the person in need, and all the people who want to use this data to prepare their program and to make their program more efficient use the data by paying fees to the persons in need, small fees, micro fees. And then this micro fee, anyhow, is also part of the assistance that help institution are already giving. Today they give in cash. We can imagine they give in tokens along with the fees. And then the people in need have a DEX where they can bundle, exchange the tokens. For example, we can imagine that someone have a little bit of tokens from Red Cross, some tokens from the World Food Foundation, some tokens from Oxfam, etc., from UNICEF, and then she can go to exchange and then bundle all of them into a single bunch of Red Cross token, and then she can redeem this token to buy medicines for her kids. So this is mainly business model of Machu Picchu. And on top of that, cherry over the cake, once we're on this, since the data are not owned by anybody, the startups, the development agencies, the banks, everybody who is offering financial services to the person in need can also use this data. And the amount of budget of financial services is 10 times the amount of the assistance. So in 3 slides, this is the model of Machu Picchu. Next 2 slides. How do we start? By experience, the person in need are illiterate, and they are certainly computer illiterate, and they trust only the helper organization. So we have to go through the helper organization. We cannot pretend to offer service directly to the person in need. We need to be neutral, open source, and very easy to compose in order to fit the needs of this help organization. So Machu Picchu is composed of three parts. The first part would be sample applications that are open source that could be used directly by the helper organization or almost directly by changing very little. The second would be an open source library of components that can be merged together in order to answer specific applications that the helper organization may want to build. And then on top of that, there is a kind of a stack exchange in order to answer to the question the helper organization may want to say. How do we start? Let's start not by making yet another humanitarian project. First, because we are not humanitarian, we are developers. And second, because we have better stay neutral in order to not to exclude any use case. So what I suggest is we blockchainize a game. And this game, you have the link here. It exists on the internet. You may have seen it. It's called Avatar Generator. And the link is getavatar.com. The avatar is composed of a series of data. For example, if you change her hair, you can change the eyes, you can change the mouth, and you can change the head wheel. And then we can even generate a random avatar with random characteristics, and we put it on the blockchain. And then we can retrieve the blockchain, the avatars, and make a list, whatever we do. It's a game. It's easy to use, and it will invite the helper association. They will see immediately what usage they can do with, because these are the data. We can replace it very easily with the personal data of the persons in need. And then once we do it, we have plenty of blockchain challenges that we can put on top of this game. Data ownership, reputation, identity, storage, transactions, DEX, etc. With this, we have a list of things to do in order to make this open source library for use by the different helper organizations. And then, why can we do that? Remember that the three major targets that we want to use is to have the data directly owned by the person in need, to have it accessible to all people who want to access them, so that the data is not property of a single company, but accessible to everybody. And then the third objective is that to have the tokens that are used to pay the data totally fungible, swappable on the DEX. And the beauty of the Ethereum ecosystem today is that we have everything available now. I don't see another blockchain that has all these fabulous tools. So, for example, on the left, you have the trust machine, Ethereum. If we want to scale, we have the layer 2 already ready, usable. If we want to access to the blockchain for the providers, we have Pocket Network, we have Infura, and then if we want to give easy access to the people, we have the gas station, we have Economy, so that they don't even need to have ETH in order to access the blockchain. We have Oracle, that's on the blockchain part. On the right stack, the decentralized storage, we have IPFS, we have Ceramic for the SIMA, we have OrbitDB, Textile, and other DP, SkyDB for the database, we have Filecoin to monetize access services, and then in the middle we have the client, we have the OTP, we have IDX, and on top of that we have all the DEX available already for the exchange of the tokens. All we need now is to start doing, and let's make it happen together. Thank you, Tom.